Welcome to the Crux of Crypto. Today, we're going over the top 5 mid-cap opportunities in all of crypto. So you guys know I am Crux. I'm a fundamental analyst, and I specialize with altcoins. So in this live stream, you're going to know the 5 best asymmetric bets for what medium risk or medium market cap cryptocurrencies have to offer for this next bull market. So if this is your first time, smash that like, hit subscribe. I've been doing this for a while, and I'll tell you, I'll go over the metrics here shortly to back this claim up. But ever since I switched to interactive live streams, you guys have been absolutely supporting me, and I'm hitting some of the craziest milestones on this channel for having just only 5,200, I think it's like 5,100 subscribers. I'm doing crazy with these views, and the interactive live streams are exactly why we've been able to push these views up. So thank you guys for your support. What I will do is I'll talk about the $1,000 portfolio that I started a week ago from today with you guys. So I loaded up a Phantom wallet with $1,000 in it. You guys spent my crypto, and spoiler, we are up a little bit. So I'll definitely walk you quickly through that, and then we'll move on to just a little bit of news before we move into the top 5 mid-cap altcoins. So you see a poll over there in the chat right now. There's Kaspa, Ondo Finance, there's Aerodrome, and there's, I think, like 6 different cryptocurrencies other than those that I'm going to go over this live stream. And what I want you guys to do is put whichever mid caps that I'm not talking about and then make a case in the comments, and I'll make sure I hit those too. So, welcome in if it is your first time. I could almost guarantee you these live streams go more in depth than anything you're going to find on YouTube. And I pat myself on the back because this is what I'm here to do. I'm here to tell the world about cryptocurrencies, and you guys have been awesome supporting me and allowing this to happen. So thank you all. So let's go ahead and jump into this first thing that I have. This is the current metrics that I'm talking about. As you can see down there on the bottom, that's going to be my probably about 2 months ago whenever I covered macroeconomics. And clearly you guys weren't as enthusiastic about that. You guys wanted me to talk interactive. How do I make money in crypto? So that's what we do here at the Crux of Crypto now. As you can see over time, I went from 500 views per live stream, and in only 2 months, I've tripled that. So I went to the top 7 picks. We found those. I went to the number 1 altcoin. Spoiler, it is Tau. So we found BitTensor Tau is the number 1 altcoin opportunity in all of crypto. We moved up to fixing your portfolios live, spending my $1,000. Just last week, we hit by far my number 1 live stream of all time, which was the top 5 gem opportunities. So if you don't know, gems are usually cryptocurrencies around the 100 to 150 mil market cap or lower. And last week I took you guys through those, and Kita was the number 1 winner. So today we're going to go through around anything from 50 to 100 in terms of market cap. So we're not going to be talking about Bitcoin and Ethereum, but we will be talking about Ondo Finance and some of the other ones that have a lower market cap, but a ton of upside potential. So I think this is the bread and butter of a lot of portfolios. Now let's go ahead and look back at the screen. In the Fix My Portfolio live stream, that was probably one of my best live streams right there, where I discuss how to play the next bull market. So I talked about like 30% of a portfolio should be in large caps, maybe 50% should be in Bitcoin, maybe 15% into the mid caps, etc., and then 5% into the low caps. So why am I doing full live streams over, for example, 5% was last week, over why you should be holding these? Because I'll tell you, in my 2020 to 2021 exposure into my first bull market, my low caps actually outperformed all of my mid and my high caps, and they ended up becoming 20, 30, 40, 50% of my portfolio, and it was from a very small allocation. So if you can choose the right plays, that's what I teach you at the Crux of Crypto, is finding those right plays, balancing the risk to reward, and how to make money off of that. So let's go ahead and jump into this $1,000 portfolio I just talked about. So I would say whenever we started it, it was more or less like $960 or 970. So I threw like 12 Solana or so over there, and I came over here to Jupiter, and what we did on that live stream is we found 6 different plays, and we swapped one Solana for each of those plays, and now we are cooking. So we were up about $60 on the week. Your boy Crux, hey, I might go get a steak dinner or something. We'll see. Maybe I just hold it until 2029. You're going to have to stick around and subscribe to this channel if you want to know what I'm going to do with my crypto. But I personally believe this like $1,000 portfolio is probably going to hit $10,000. So people call me crazy. We got some good Solana. We got some Pengu in there. Pengu's absolutely crushing it. We'll talk about that one a little bit today. But that's what we do here. We talk about all these different plays and opportunities because I don't want to be like most of these other channels where I find, 4 different cryptos and I talk about them. I want to teach the world about cryptocurrency. So, all right, so let's go ahead and go over the overall outlook of the markets. We are down today about 0.5% on the overall crypto market cap, sitting close to about $2.6 trillion. So I'd say overall, I'm still bearish. I've been talking about being in a bear winter since October, so I did call the top, and I think I'm going to call the bottom, which is going to be going into Q3 of this year. And a couple things that would stop this from happening would, one, be the Clarity Act. If the Clarity Act does pass, then most likely the bear market's going to end short. And number 2, I'm going to go over here in a second, so you're going to have to stick around for that second thing that would end a bear market early. But overall, looking at the current state of the markets, I think crypto is in a healthy spot in accordance with the 4-year cycles. So you guys know I'm a 4-year cyclist. I believe heavily in what the 4-year cycles have done, and I've been able to capitalize on it because I'm a long-term investor. So if you don't know, like I hold usually most of my cryptocurrencies at least 3 years. And a lot of times when you're in crypto, you'll hear people say nobody's ever lost money holding Bitcoin for 4 years. And there's a lot of truth to that. So if you look at the percentages, like if I buy Bitcoin today, there's like a 60% chance I've made money a year from today. But if I buy Bitcoin today and wait 2 years, it's like a 75% chance. 3 years, it's close to about an 85% chance. If I buy Bitcoin today and I wait 4 years, it's close to about a 95% chance. So that's how I personally invest in this market, is I play the long-term game. And the best part about this is if you hold in America, if you hold a crypto asset for at least a year, you get the long-term capital gains incentive. So I'm not buying and selling. Trust me, I've learned my lesson in multiple bull markets, actually, where I would buy, I would actually sell up here. I would buy back in and FOMO back in, and then it would dump again. And I would just lose over and over and over again. So I realized the longer term I hold, the better I do as an investor. So let me know what you guys think. Do you guys like to buy and try to time things, or do you like to just buy and hodl? So there's no right answer, but there is what works best for you. And that's what I like to definitely separate and try to find build confidence in your own, due diligence in being in these markets. So, all right, let's go ahead and just quickly go over the second thing that I just talked about that could end this bear winter early. And it's all about a possible strategic Bitcoin reserve coming into effect in the next couple of weeks, where the United States could possibly use taxpayer dollars to buy Bitcoin, which is a first. All the Bitcoin we own close to about 500,000 Bitcoin. The United States has all been confiscated from Silk Road, just FPI illicit activity, and none of it has been purchased. So we do own the most cryptocurrency out of any country, but it's a testament of how we seize, how we seize cryptos from illicit activity. So once taxpayer funds come into this, we've hit escape velocity and there's no going back. So I'm super excited. We are in the golden era of a new asset class where we've given enough time for this thing to really prove itself. 15 years. Bitcoin was created in 2009. So we've given it enough time to prove itself. And now we still have the Clarity Act that's holding the reins back from this thing just going parabolic. So we're in that last little 3-5 month period. And I'm like, this is it, guys. Like, we have to figure out how to capitalize. You got the low cap opportunity last week. We're going to get the mid caps now. And then if this live stream does well, I will do the large caps next week. And you guys will know the best 5 opportunities for each of the risk tiers. And I think that's what I can do best as a portfolio analyst to help you guys. And all right, very long-winded there, but let's go ahead and listen to what they got to say.
And solidify that and protect the digital assets, but specifically Bitcoin that we have on the government balance sheet. So in the next few weeks, we'll be making a big announcement. I think we have a bit of a breakthrough there. And obviously that needs to be followed up with legislation. Senator Lummis's Bitcoin Act.
All right, so the quick wrap up of that is in 2 weeks or maybe 3 weeks, in the next few weeks, so I don't have an exact number, there may possibly be new legislation that allows taxpayer funds speculatively to be put into this. So I wouldn't go ahead and just say this is all certain. This has been talked about before. There was a Bitcoin Act of 2025 that Cynthia Lummis proposed about a couple of years ago, and it just seemed like it kind of lost its traction. but I would not give up on the United States Bitcoin Reserve. In fact, I have a very high probability that in the next couple of years, while Donald Trump is president, we're going to see it take effect. So I love to see it. And I think that's probably the biggest catalyst whenever we have the biggest country in the world buying Bitcoin. At that point, you got the space race. China might even start buying it. And then the third biggest and the fourth biggest, etc. It's not just the countries, it is the companies. So, all right. So let's go ahead and do a quick little Q&A segment and check out what you guys got going on over here. And then we will move into those crypto. So hi, Crux's Angel. What up, Angel? Crypto Bipto. Hey, I saw you, Crypto Bipto, in Tim's live stream. So welcome in. And also congrats on getting everybody that 20% off the students membership over there on the VIP trading group. So you can go down there in the description below and you can check out one of those memberships. But that's pretty dope. 20% off. The Academy is about, I think, almost 90 videos. I have a 13 video series in there teaching you how to build a perfect portfolio. Tim has like 65 videos on teaching you technical analysis. We have Rufio, who teaches you Elliott wave theory, which is advanced TA. And then we have T-Shroom, my boy T-Shroom. He is over there teaching about like macroeconomics. How do I make money off of this Iran tension that's going on, the Strait of Hormuz? What does it mean for oil? What does it mean for gold? This is all stuff you should know as an investor. So, all right, Noah says, hey, what up, Noah? Hope all is well, brother. Mike, let's go. Drop the knowledge and smash the like button. Angel, hi, Crux. All right, Exotic. Congrats. Keep the videos and live streams coming. Let's go. So my videos are crushing it too. I'm going to talk about a couple videos that I got coming out. For, again, a channel my size, you can check it out. Thousands and thousands of views on these videos and live streams. And it's all because of you guys. You guys are going to allow me to be the next mouthpiece of crypto. And I'm not going to stop. So there's no stopping the crux of crypto. You are one of the first 5,000 subscribers. And by the end of this bull market, we will be six figures. And I know that for a fact because the knowledge is there, the confidence is there, and the support is there. So nothing is stopping this train. All right. And also, as you're buying money in this bear winter, or as you're buying crypto in this bear winter, just remember these opportunities because there's a lot of people that have ran away from crypto and are not tuning into YouTube. And those are the people that are going to FOMO in when Bitcoin's back to $126,000. And they're going to be late. Like the people that are here now are going to be the ones that win the next bull market. So first of all, I want to give you early congratulations for being here and understanding these markets. So nobody wants to be here whenever the prices are low. I get it. Like right now, if the prices were up, I'd have way more viewers in here. But that should be a reverse indicator on when to buy crypto. All right, Zebic good. SY Daily. Zebic is good. I actually broke that down in my last video last Thursday. So make sure you check out the low cap one. It made my top 5 low cap opportunities in crypto. And Zebic Network is a solid project. All right. Yo, Crux says Cat. What up, Cat? We got some OGs in chat. What up, Crux? Good to see you. This is David Trucker. We got Daily coming. Okay. Yeah, we talked about Zebic a little bit. Crypto Frost. What up, brother? I've seen you in Discord. Are you planning on adding more to that 1,000 portfolio or just to let it ride? Great question. So let me go ahead and explain why I'm not adding it to that portfolio in particular. So that was for Solana. What I did with that portfolio is I put like 12 Solana in there and I let you guys move it around in a Phantom wallet. So what I plan on doing on my next one, which might be maybe 2 weeks from today, I'm going to load up $1,000 into a Coinbase wallet and I'm going to let you do the base ecosystem. And what I think is best for you guys is this. It allows you to learn more about crypto. So I brought you through being able to buy certain, Solana projects, but what about the base ecosystem? There's some really good projects from Toshi to Aerodrome to Morpho to, I don't know, there's a lot of good opportunities in that base network. And I want to make sure you guys have the knowledge across all of these different ecosystems and you do it live with me. So it's as if you opened your own wallet and you spent your own funds. You can always go back in the live streams and check how I did it, just so you could safely make sure you don't get scammed or it helps with confidence. If you see me do it live, then you know you can do it. So, and also I am like an altcoin specialist, so I don't focus any ecosystem in particular. I am all about using all of these different ecosystems and find the best asymmetric bets. And the base ecosystem, I believe right now is like, it's right up there with Solana in the leading ecosystem. So I love both of them. All right. Click that like button, says Angel. I appreciate it. Yeah, smash that like. We got about 30 people in here. More people are going to trickle in as I talk about these altcoins. And yeah, so I always try to butter you guys up and then answer some questions. And then now is the time to talk about these altcoins. So let's get it. Let's go ahead and smash those likes and make sure we get it. Boom. All right, this is the list of opportunities we're talking about today. And then make sure we go down. And then what we're going to do after this, well, during the session, you can go ahead and throw any other projects that are mid cap. So anywhere between the 50 to top 100 in all of crypto. If it's not on this list, go ahead and let me know. But this is a general list that I just created just earlier today. And I'm going to give a reason on why these are all good buys in this type of scenario. So first up, let's go ahead and start with Pepe. You guys are probably like, I don't like meme coins. You know, meme coins aren't doing great right now. I got a couple different reasons on why I think Pepe is a solid purchase, but I have another bad reason kind of on why there's probably better opportunities, but that's what I like to do. I like to explain the good and the bad, but let's go ahead and explain a little bit about Pepe. So first of all, what I will do is I'll compare Pepe to what I think the most likely course of action will be, and it's going to be like a Sheeb, for example. So if you guys knew anything about 2020 into 2021, Shiba Inu was absolutely crushing it. And this was really like the first full bull run of meme coins in this 2020 era. And you had a couple of them pop off, yeah, like Doge, Elon, Mars, etc. But this last bull market was whenever all the Solana tokens really picked up. So you had Dogecoin about 2 different bull markets ago. You had, or 3 different bull markets ago. You had Shiba 2 bull markets ago, and now you have Pepe, which was the last bull market's winner, really. And if you compare like Shiba in its first bull market against Shiba in its second bull market, it did not get a higher high. So I don't think that Pepe is going to jump into a higher high. But what I will tell you is Shiba still did, from a bear market low to a cycle peak, a 10x, which did outperform Bitcoin. And I felt like it was a safer bet in terms of the overall meme coins. Now, Dogecoin did a 9x from about, I think Dogecoin went as low as 5 cents, and it went up to 45 cents. So Shiba did outperform Bitcoin. It also outperformed Dogecoin. But if we look at Pepe's chart, it has pulled back significantly. And I do think that it's going to get that 10 to 15x from bear market low to cycle high. And again, this is a project that's probably not going to go to zero. And if you look at it, this is its first bull market. It did very well. Most likely it's not going to get all the way back up this next bull market, but that's okay, because this project has done very well. And if I just get even half of what it did this last bull market, then I am in good hands. So if you hold some Pepe, let me know in the comments. If you like meme coins, also let me know. We'll talk about, I think, one more meme coin, maybe. But, you know, I'm not super big into memes. I think it's okay to have some exposure to these, but I wouldn't beat you up if you don't have any exposure. So I always throw that little caveat in there. And why do I think it will do pretty well is ETFs. So Shiba did not get an ETF, and Pepe may in fact be the first meme coin to receive an ETF. And that's from Canary Capital. So Canary Capital has already filed one, and I think that's pretty big. It already has a Robinhood effect. It's listed over there. It knows its culture. So I think Pepe has a little bit of room to run. So let's go ahead and jump into, and I'll put it right here. So you got Canary Capital ETF plus looks like Shiba Inu in its second bull market. That's like the setup for it, right? Which did a parentheses 10x. And I think a 10x is successful. I mean, that's perfectly buying the bottom and perfectly buying the top. If you would have bought Bitcoin at 15.5 and sold it at 126K, you would have got an 8.3x. So that's what we do with altcoins, is we try to outpace Bitcoin. All right, I think that's a little long-winded on Pepe. Let's move on to the next one, which is Aave. This one has been in the news quite a bit as of late. And what I want to do in this segment is go ahead and take away some of the FUD, because a lot of people know the Aave story. I've broken it down. In fact, I will actually be breaking it down more in depth. And this video drops Friday. I'm gonna drop a segment with myself and Tim talking about it, but I'm gonna give a huge update on what's happened in the past couple days, which has been massive in terms of why I think this project is still a buy. And let's go ahead and show you why. So this is Twitter. It's what I personally use to get just real updated information. But look at all of these different companies that are coming out and saying Aave, we're supporting them anywhere from like DeFi platforms, like OKX is right there. Compound, that's a massive DeFi platform. There's Avalanche Foundation. And then if you keep on scrolling, you see Circle, which is the #2 biggest issuer of stablecoins in the world. So they're the ones who created USDC. They have a private company. Actually, no, they're public now. So they have a publicly traded company. There's a lot of confidence behind this company, and they have bought Aave. So what I do is I swim with whales. If Aave has taken a massive hit, it took 18% hit in a single 24-hour period. The whales are buying. That's why I'm buying. And I think that's a really good reason on why I should make this video and explain it in depth on why you are not alone if you're still holding Aave. I hold Aave, and there's a lot of good opportunities there in DeFi. Don't let the FUD break your bags. Some of these whales that are involved in the Aave ecosystem from Jest and Sun have taken a lot of their funds out, and they migrated those into different communities. But overall, Aave is the most interoperable DeFi play in all of crypto. It pushed over 42 billion in TVL and has since pulled back. It's sitting at like 18 billion. Like, this thing is on fire sale. So it's one of the best opportunities asymmetrically, in my opinion, to buy in crypto. So let's go ahead and throw Aave right here. And I'm going to say Circle Ventures bought plus DeFi and CeFi are supporting. So you have a project that's taken a hit, and there's a lot of support to make sure it gets back up. So a lot of those same claims can be done for Tau. So BitTensor Tau has essentially depegs Bitcoin price action. Like, Bitcoin will go up, Tau will go down, vice versa. And it's all because of the FUD that's been around that ecosystem. So I think Aave, Tau, two FUDed ecosystems, two fundamentally strong projects that Crux is still buying. So, all right, I'll do 3 more of these, and then we'll jump into another segment of Q&A. So the third project is Aerodrome. So let's see. Yeah, all right, let's go ahead and just jump into Aerodrome. All right, the third project is Aerodrome. And let me give my brief reason on why I think Aerodrome is a solid buy. So these are the current metrics over there. Now, let me see if I can just make this a little larger. No, it's not going to work. Okay. It's not going to allow me to fully maximize it, but what I want to show you in these charts here is you have an ecosystem that is thriving in a bear market, which is extremely rare. So if I just told you that Aave went from 42 billion in October of last year all the way down to 18 billion where it's currently sitting at, it took well over a 50% hit in terms of its TVL. So it wasn't all the kelp DAO. It was all about crypto prices bringing it down. So whenever you have something that is stagnant, that if you look at the price action, it's like sideways. That is in a bear winter when everything's supposed to be falling. So the way I look at this is there's tons of positive progress in this ecosystem. It's just being essentially suppressed. And once we're able to flip this market, it's like holding a balloon or a basketball underwater. It's just going to fly up. And the metrics behind Aerodrome is absolutely extremely competitive. It is a project that's outside the top 50 and is competing with some of the best DEX in terms of trading volume. Again, here's the metrics. And another note is there's more people making money on Aerodrome than any other ecosystem that is a DEX in crypto, which is crazy. So this is the leading DEX for fee revenue, and you can fact check that. So I like Aerodrome. If you hold some Aerodrome, let me know in chat. I'm sure there's a lot of you guys that do. I've been pretty bullish on this project for a while now, but let's go ahead and update our tracker to reflect why Aerodrome should be a top 5. And again, there's more than 5 here. So we're going to do all of these, and then we're going to list them 1 through 5 in order of what I think is best. Okay, so Aerodrome, what it did do is it leads DeFi in the revenue. So more people are making money in that ecosystem than any like Hyperliquid, Aster, all of it. It is Aerodrome leading the way. And I think that's mainly because it's tied to a centralized exchange Coinbase that allows for opportunities. So I'll be honest, it's a little centralized, but that's okay. And then you got leads DeFi, and then also metrics look very healthy for bear winter. Boom. All right. Now, if you have some Kaspa, that's our next one. Throw K's in chat. If you have some Kaspa, throw K's in chat. And look, you might already know, I threw a little spoiler, what's going to win this one. I got to do it because I have a whole bunch of people in the comments that are probably going to throw K's in chat. But this is my favorite project in all of crypto, and let me briefly explain why. So let's go back to this. Should I actually pull that up right now? Right. All right, let's do it. This video drops tomorrow, and it's really going to go in depth, so I'm not going to go crazy in depth right now. You'll have to wait for tomorrow. But if you step to the side, you'll see Takata Hard Fork, and this is coming out actually June. So it's coming out like 6 weeks, if I'm not mistaken, maybe even less. Let's just say 5 weeks. This Takata Hard Fork is coming out, and this is giving you time to buy before I think it starts really pumping. Like overall, I think Bitcoin's going to have to really pump to get all of these altcoins out of the bear winter. But why I like Kaspa so much, and why I do think that it belongs on this top 5 list, is because there's 2 hard forks, and it's not done with just those 2 hard forks in 2026 alone. So you have the Takata hard fork. That one's going to specifically target Silverscript, and then it's also going to target Covenant++. And this is essentially going to allow rules for money, and it's pretty big. Now, once we get into Q3 of this year, where I think the bear winter is going to be, that's when the biggest hard fork is going to come out, and that's going to include Dag Knight, and it's also going to include, what was it, Dag Knight and something else. You guys let me know, Dag Knight and something else, and then 2027 is where it really catches fire. And this is where we go from 30 blocks per second from Dag Knight and to 100 blocks per second. And also it introduces vProgs, which allows off-chain computation to apply on-chain without sacrificing decentralization or composability. So a lot of buzzwords there. Just understand Kaspa is what, in my opinion, Satoshi envisioned in a peer-to-peer network, but also it surpassed the limits of Satoshi's vision by adding programmability and rules to the token. So I love this project. It is a awesome project. I've been covering it for a while now. And if it's your first time, check out some of my other videos after this. I'm telling you, you will be sold on it, because all of the limits that Satoshi essentially ran into from having to swap like the block size, the data on how much it can actually handle, it has fixed all of that. And that's what evolutionary of technology looks like. So I like Bitcoin. I appreciate it. I think it's a first mover, and it's a very good opportunity as a long-term investor. But as a visionary and as somebody who wants to see society advance, Kaspa, there's no other cryptocurrency out there that has more potential in my eyes than Kaspa. So very long-winded there. Let's go ahead and briefly update our thing. We'll go into one more, and then we'll jump into another Q&A segment. So Kaspa has the Takata hard fork in 5 weeks. I'm going to put about 5 weeks. You have Dag Knight in Q3, as early as Q3, and then you have 100 BPS plus vProgs in 2027. That is absolutely crazy, y'all. So let me tell you this. By next year, we could see a cryptocurrency that, let's just say it does 300 transactions in a single block, right? And if it's able to do 100 blocks per second by next year, you're pushing 30,000 TPS on a mainnet. Solana, let's just say it does 6,000. So you're looking at something 5 times faster than Solana, but also is cheaper than Solana and is a proof of work network, y'all. It's crazy. We are looking at what I think is the next era of what cryptocurrency is. But always do your own due diligence, like the emission schedule. There's issues there. Every year it does a halving event, as opposed to Bitcoin's like 4-year halving event. The hash rate from Kaspa has dramatically dropped. We touched over 1,000 validator nodes at one point. Currently, we're probably closer to like 500 or 400. So we dropped validator nodes quite a bit. And this is all because as the token drops, you make less money when you mine. So people will leave a network. But what I tell you in crypto, if there's one thing you got to take from this live stream, if something does not kill you, it makes you stronger. So if you're able to survive a bear winter, multiple bear winters like Bitcoin has, you just get stronger and stronger every time. Because out of 1 million projects that get created in crypto, maybe 1,000 of them will survive a bear winter. So the odds are against you, and you have to find the right teams and tech to invest into it. So, all right, let's go ahead and do one more. We'll do Ondo Finance, and then we'll go ahead and jump into a Q&A segment. And all right. So if you hold some Ondo, let me know in chat. Ondo Finance. It's a big one. It's definitely a big one. I know I have a pretty big Ondo crowd. And if it's your first time, let me go ahead and walk you quickly through this. So Ondo Finance is a real world asset play. Essentially just tokenizes different products that are already created in the traditional finance space. So this is kind of like the overall metrics. Let me get out of the way. You have a $3.5 billion worth of assets that are already tokenized in this network. You have stable coins that are already over there in the USDY product. You have almost 100,000 holders, and there's a lot of activity that's already happening on this network. And get this, it's not even legal yet to use in the United States. So until the Clarity Act passes, there's a lot of different restrictions that these products can offer. So a lot of these companies, they move offshore, they tokenize their products, and cool, they start winning within the tokenization space. So maybe your first question is, why would I tokenize my Tesla stock? So I have a share of Tesla. Why would I tokenize it? Because the monetary network is all about borrowing and lending. So if you know anything about a bank, you can put $100 into a bank. If I open a credit card, they're going to charge me 18%, if I don't pay off whatever the fees are, but they're going to give me like 0.5% in my savings account. So essentially, they're lending me my own money back to me, but they're collecting money on me borrowing it, right? So crypto was all about cutting out the middleman, right? So if I have my Tesla share, I can actually, instead of the bank, owning my share and lending it out to somebody, I physically own it. And then I can also go lend it out for like 3-5% APY on it. So I'm going to talk about another project here called Morpho that goes even further into that. But, going back into Ondo and why I'm very bullish on it. Excuse me. Sorry. All right. Why I'm super bullish on Ondo is if you look at this is the history of since its beginning. You got this product called OUSG, and this is Biddle's fund. It's like your 401k type thing. It's very safe, and it's BlackRock backed. So the biggest asset manager in the world, 14 trillion in assets. They create a product called Biddle. OUSG is using Biddle to back its reserves, and then over time they make money. Then they create a second product called USDY. So USDY is just a stable coin, something similar to like USDT or USDC, and it's essentially pegged to the dollar. And then since September of last year, where you see there's two products, boom, everything comes into existence in September. So this is when you get all of those Teslas and those Amazons and Googles and all the tokenized stocks. And this is where I think the real opportunity is going to present itself. And all of this is already set. The foundation is set. All we need is legal clarity. And that's why I think it's the #1 project in all of crypto to buy prior to the Clarity Act. All right, so if you have some Ondo, make some noise in chat. And let's go ahead and read some Q&A segments. I think very long-winded there. Some Q&A with you guys on if you guys are holding mid caps or if you think the low caps are where it's at. So, all right. Angel, yes, smash that like. Your boy Army Piper's in chat. What up? What up, Army Piper? Make sure you check out his channel. You can click his name right there. It'll take you straight there. He's way more macro focused than I am. So he's like, I would say not the exact opposite of what I'm doing, but he is like, if you really want to learn about Bitcoin, if you want to learn about like Iran, especially like the macroeconomic conditions, why gold has, a lot of value and those types of things, best channel on YouTube. Like he really breaks it down very well. I'm over here like in the degen stuff. So right now we're talking about like 50 to 100. Last week we talked about like projects under the 100 mil market cap. So very risky, very speculative. But what you can do is take the best of both worlds. Find like your safer assets, like your Bitcoins, and your less risky altcoins, and then add in a little bit of risk if you would like to. And remember, 3 weeks ago we talked about a portfolio. I think 50% should be in Bitcoin, and this is pretty conservative, I would say. So about 50% into Bitcoin, 30% into large caps, so Ethereum, Solana, XRP, etc. 15% into those mid caps, and then only 5% into the low caps. So you may see a video, that's like, oh, Kita, Crux loves Kita. He just pushed like 2,500 views on this video. He has to be super bullish on it. I am, but at the same time, I have like less than 1% of my portfolio in those speculative projects. So remember, Bitcoin is king, and you should always be figuring out how do I accumulate as much Bitcoin as possible. So that's what we do here at the Crux Cryptos. We teach you how to fish. So Crypto Bipto, I got $100 a month subscription to start trading with Tim. Thank you. Yeah, so the $100 thing is the VIP trading group. So we have over 500 people that's in that VIP trading group right now. And I'll tell you, so you got the Academy, which is the entry level. It has like 80 different videos on how to start trading. Eventually you get the confidence to join the group. And then if you want to get super confident, which I'll be honest, I would wait. So the Gem Hunters is a group that I run, and this is more or less when the bull market starts. So I would personally wait if I was in your shoes. But whenever the bull market does start, I think we're going to make a ton of gains over there in the Gem Hunters because I look for those best asymmetric risks in crypto. And also, I give a lot of these projects a due diligence. So I don't just automatically say it's a scam. And I think if I look on like crypto Twitter, for example, people will be like, Kita is down 80% from its cycle high, right? But guess what? Solana is too. So your favorite projects, the ones with all the VC backing and a ton of credibility, all of it's down. So what I would wait for is if everything is pumping and your project is not pumping, that's when you should be worried. But if everything's dumping, you know, Bitcoin's dumping, your project's 100% going to be dumping. Like you might luckily get Hyperliquid or like a Canton that's able to depeg Bitcoin, but it's very rare. So in these opportunities, you want to be in the larger caps. And then also in that video, I talk about how, which this is something I learned from Army Piper too, like leaving a bear winter, Bitcoin does very well, but also the crypto stocks. So go check out like MicroStrategy and Marathon Digital, like in 2023. They did a quick 10x that year. So the way that I kind of see this next bull winter or the bull market is Bitcoin and Bitcoin stocks. I would wait and have patience going into like 2028. And then at that point, you're like, all right, so quantum computing is a go, AI is a no-go. And then you have like gaming that for some reason came back. So like you had your patience, you figured out which niches are going to work. And then that's whenever you start diversifying. If you want to ride 2028 into 2029, you believe like the 4-year cycle like me, there's some good opportunities within a bull market where you can swap out some of that risk. So, all right, very long-winded. Woot woot. Hit those likes. 9 years in, still learning. Never enough. Love your energy. Yeah, appreciate you, Chris. I honestly, my live streams, I used to do about an hour. I've done one recently that was 2 hours long. And what I basically do is if I have at least 45 people in here, where there's currently 42, so share this out with somebody, smash that like to help it get it out. If it is at least 45 people, I will stay here for you guys. And that's kind of my number. But I mean, my last live stream hit 1,500 views, which is absolutely crazy. And we're talking about Kita in a bear market. So there's some people out there that still want to take advantage of these opportunities. And I don't know. I just continue to allow projects to exist on the YouTube space without all the FUD absolutely destroying them. Because, and what I will tell you, like these ecosystems, they absolutely get demolished in a bear winter. So 2022, you had FTX. FTX wiped out a lot of stuff from Celsius to UST. I'm a victim of all of it. I've lost well over 6 figures in some of those scams. And like this bear market, we got hit with already tons of stuff. Like I would not tell you to go and use DeFi every single day in a bear winter. I would strongly recommend that you wait for a bull market because in bear winters, a lot of people lose hope. And if people lose hope, they sell their project and then things collapse. So we already starting to see like Aave cracking a little bit. And I'll be honest, I don't think all of this is over with. So I just talked very positively about Aave, but I never said that the bottom is in yet. And if you know, you know. So I called it in October. I said 40K in October 2026, and I have been spot on. So, you know, to take that with what it's worth, I think about 70% probability that the bottom is not in. And we did reject off that 79,000 like psychological level, but there's also I forgot which moving average it is. I'm sure Piper would be able to tell me. We bounced off an important moving average, and most likely we are headed lower. So Tim was talking about 58K. A lot of the TA guys in our VIP trading group are talking about 58,000. Your boy Crux, 40K. 40K, and we go off of diminishing returns and diminishing losses in accordance with the 4-year cycle. So that's what I teach. That's what I preach. All right, we got Billy, who's super bullish on Kita. So we got some Kita heads in here, or some Ketards. That is the actual name that we've adopted, is Ketards. Good evening from Philadelphia. All right, Neen. Look, I'm from Dallas, Texas, so there's a little rivalry there. I like the Cowboys. You like the Philadelphia Eagles. But at the end of the day, we come together in the name of crypto. So thanks for being here. Appreciate the support that you're here. And thank you. So Owl says, Kaspa Grayscale. All right. So let me quickly show you. Go back here. This video, again, is dropping. That is not that one. It is this one. This video is dropping tomorrow. It's all about the Takata hard fork. But I do reference a couple things. I reference Jonathan Sampolinski's Oxford speech. So he gave a very good speech in Oxford. And he just talked about how this next era is all about programmability. And Kaspa, in my opinion, is at that golden point of the next year or so. You have things that have been tested on testnet 10 and 12 for many years at this point that are finally working their way into the mainnet. So this is all about how Kaspa has progressed over time. And now we get to see the fruits of our labor. So Grayscale, they recently came out and they said, basically, you guys let me know who I should follow. And their comment sections were absolutely crowded with people in the Kaspa community. You guys know, I ain't gonna lie, we're kind of toxic a little bit. We will be in those comments, sometimes delusional, but we're in those comments. And we were in Grayscale's comments and they said #1. So hashtag, if you don't know, is Jonathan, no, it's Michael Sutton. Wait, no, it is Jonathan Sampolinski. So he won. He mentioned in the comments, Opcat, it was like Opcat++, and then he talked about something Bitcoin. So it was very like Satoshi, the way that he just like one-lined it. It's super cool, but you'll see it in my next video. And Grayscale, who once gave Kaspa an opportunity, shafted Kaspa. So now, who knows, we might have a second opportunity to get picked up by one of the leading innovators in the crypto space. Grayscale was the first before ETFs to create trusts. And I would say they were the first like big winners in terms of institutional adoption in crypto. So a lot of those ETFs or those trusts turned into ETFs. And I think Grayscale's very healthy for the space. And overall, Kaspa could possibly see a lot of momentum going forward. So let's read a couple more comments and we move on to that list that we already got going on. I've already done about half of them. All right, Algorand, says Joe. Algorand is in the list. We will definitely hit that here shortly. I see some Ondos in chat. So Angel, you got some Ondo. Boom, you also have Ondo. Arrow needs to add perps. Yes. So Khan, you are absolutely right. If you don't know anything about perps, it is the new thing. So Hyperliquid came about 2 years ago. And a lot of VCs were back in this thing. The tokenomics are, so I would say at launch, the tokenomics were super sus, but over time, through airdrops, I think they've distributed it well. So I got mixed feelings on the tokenomics of Hyperliquid, but they're pushing like 10 million a day, and no, 10 billion a day in trading volume. So they're absolutely crushing it. At one point, it was like, you had like Hyperliquid here, you had Aster just a little bit under it. So if Hyperliquid did 10, Aster did like 9 billion, right under it on its feet. Aster is now down here at more like 5. So Aster's kind of losing the race, but it's still a good project. And then you have Lighter. So LIT is a ticker. That one dropped like 4 months ago, maybe a little longer, maybe half a year ago. And I think those are all solid projects. And that's what the Uniswaps, that's what the Aerodromes of the world that are just normal dexes are going to have to compete against. And I do 100% agree with you that perp dexes are going to be a requirement for you to be able to exist in this space. Because just like I showed you how Kaspa is a better technology than Bitcoin in terms of like peer-to-peer, of course, it's not the better store of value, or it'd be priced that way. But same thing with all the competition. So you can't just be a dex anymore. You have to be a perp dex. So that's a very good conclusion that you made, brother. All right. Ondo bags are packed and ready for the RWA liftoff. Yeah, RWAs are just set right now. Let's go. Daniel's here. So Daniel, a little bit late, brother, but I'll put timestamps in this and you can go back and check all of these different projects. Today, we're looking for the 5 best projects between 50 to 100 mil market cap in crypto. So we're not doing the XRPs, we're not doing the Solanas, we're doing the Ondos, the Pepes, the Aerodromes. And guess what? We got Morpho on this list. So we'll go over that one here shortly. Caspo, let's get, I got to see a lot of K's in chat. I want the best mid cap. All right. So he's telling me to shut up and go over the list. But Angel made a statement real quick. Please click the like button. Make sure you subscribe. And let's go ahead and jump into this list. And I'll get back to these comments here. I see a lot of people tuning in now. So, all right. Go back here, back to our list. Quick little recap before I jump into, actually, let me finish Ondo. So Ondo, it has since September 2025 added Ondo global markets plus 700 million in tokenized stocks. So this is absolutely huge. Right now, let me quickly show you. Now, so this right here is called Jupiter. This is a DEX. We just talked about DEXs. What I could do is I could swap some of my Solana. This is how you do it. So I have Solana right here. Let's just say I want 1 Solana. I could swap this into, let's just go with like Ondo Tesla. Or it actually should be TSLO Tesla Ondo. So look, that number 1 thing up there, that is Tesla Ondo. So if I bought this, essentially I swap my Solana for it, I can now go and lend this on a different platform and get 4 or 5% APY on my tokenized stocks. And get this, Paul Atkins, the chair of the SEC, said the only securities that are in crypto are going to be the tokenized securities. So what's backing these Ondo products are going to be securities, which is awesome for us. It means it's going to be more secure, it's going to be regulated, and it means there's not going to be any risk. So why would I not go get my 5% APY on my Ondo share? Now, I'm not going to say this is always going to exist, because maybe it doesn't, but the opportunity is there currently. So, all right, get back to that list. All right, so next up we got Morpho. So I alluded this earlier. So this one's going to be a little different than these DEXs that I just talked about. Morpho is a borrowing and lending platform. So it's going to be more rivaled against Aave. Now, they have something called vaults over here. And think of vaults like if I have RLUSD and I want to lend it out to get a passive APY on it. So let's just check it out. It's right here. This third option is RLUSD. This is Ripple's stablecoin. And essentially it's pushing a 5.5% APY rate on my stablecoin. So if you know anything about like Coinbase is kind of like the meta right now, from like safety to having yield. They're giving you like 3.5%. So that's kind of what I've settled with mainly. But if I go to DeFi, like Morpho, you can easily access it from Coinbase. You can get 4, 5, 6% on your stable coins, which is very competitive nowadays. So like the S&P 500, you're pushing maybe a little bit above 6%, but there's risk there. With stable coins, currently there's a little risk until the Clarity Act comes. And at that point, I think the risk is going to be hopefully 0, as I think it will eventually get FDIC insurance. But it's going to need the Clarity Act to get there. So going back to Morpho, we got these vaults. I can get passive yield on some of my things, but that's not exactly the big winner. The big winner is up here in the markets, right? So with the markets, you're able to lend out for a loan. So if I have $100,000 worth of, let's just say 1 Bitcoin. I have a Bitcoin worth $75,000. Morpho will probably give me a loan for like 30K. And that's in stable coins. So borrowing and lending is probably a top 3 big use case in all of crypto because it replaces the banks. And remember what I talked about earlier, the banks lend out our own money against us. Every dollar that's in a bank, it's lent out 8 times. So it's called fractionalized reserves. It's a pretty crazy concept, but it's like a house of cards. I think eventually it will collapse, and most likely crypto is going to be taking that card from under it when it does collapse. And I think stablecoins are the things that are actually backed as opposed to, things that are not backed. So Morpho, very bullish on it overall. I think it's a solid project. And let's go ahead and update this list. So Morpho, it allows you to lend out for yield, but also borrow for fairly low rates. So you get a lot of what the banks are able to do, and it's also tied right into Coinbase, which is a publicly traded company. Again, a lot of people, they tell you to FUD the SEC. At the Crux of Crypto, for a while now, we've been just trying to get crypto to be regulated in the right way. So I always believe that the CFTC should be the ones that are regulating most of it. But I do still think the SEC has a due diligence and a very important responsibility for keeping the consumer safe, the you and me's of the world. And it actually adds some credibility and some safety to this. So Morpho, don't fade that project. I think there's a ton of potential. But a lot of you guys are probably like, Crux, why is Pump.fun on your list of the best mid-cap cryptos? Earlier, I talked about Pepe. I gave a little reason on why I think meme coins are not dead. It's the same argument over and over. Pepe is down 70%. Bonk is down 75%. Some of these things go to zero. They don't return. I get it. But did you see whenever like Pepe was born on day one, and within a month it did what it did, or Bonk, or some of these opportunities, they exist, and people absolutely get wealthy from these. So I wouldn't say completely fade them, but I would treat them as very high risk and then high reward opportunities. And Pump.fun, I would treat it a little bit different than a meme coin because it is a launch pad. So it's not like you're buying Bonk or Whiff or whatever, but what you are buying is this. So this is essentially I think this is past a year maybe. Yeah, this is going all the way back to like March of last year. But this is how meme coins essentially work. As long as the price action is bearish, you're going to have like very low sideways price action. Anytime things start going parabolic is whenever tons of liquidity goes through these ecosystems, and Pump.fun is second to none for a launch pad. So what happens when people hit euphoric moments and their Bitcoin went from 40K to 70K, maybe that happens in a single month. Like I do think it'll go to 40K, but if it does go to 40K, expect a very quick recovery to some pretty good rates. People, they take that extreme greed and they throw it into extreme like risk. Like it's wild. And then all these projects start sprouting out out of thin air and people make a ton of money overnight. But so you saw Army Piper, you saw T-Shroom Tim, like all of us, we were building in the bear market, and we would talk about Pepe the day it launched, Bonk the day it launched. We were talking about these projects, and that's how you essentially could have made a ton of money. Is you have to buy them pretty early, but I think Pump.fun is on the safer side in terms of meme allocations. Maybe there's ethical and moral issues of the platform itself, as I'm not going to go too in depth on that, but there's a lot of very unethical stuff that happens on their platform. But I mean, if they're able to exist and not get hit by the CFTC, then there's opportunity there. So, all right, let's update our thing. Pump.fun. There. So it is a meme launchpad. Does very well in euphoric periods. And yeah. All right, Algorand. So I saw a couple people. I've done a deep dive on Algorand. I dropped like a year ago, and I haven't really covered it since. So Algorand is a project that's kind of a dino cryptocurrency. So dino tokens are tokens that have survived like 2 bear winters or more. So like Cardano, HBAR, Algorand's in that same mix. Now, when you look at like the ISO pump of 2022, or the ISO 2022 pump in the year, I think it was 2024, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 2024, September, October. That's when Gary Gensler resigned, right? He left the SEC. ISO 2022 compliant cryptos absolutely crushed it. HBAR did a 9x in like 5 weeks. XRP did a 6x. XLM did like a 7x. Algorand was in that mix. So it definitely falls in those ISO compliant cryptos. And I think with the Clarity Act, a lot of those ISOs will be the winners, especially the ones made in America. So Algorand has a couple different reasons on why I think it's pretty important. Now, I personally don't own any, and I own like 75 different cryptocurrencies. So take with that what you will. I don't think if you have like 10 cryptos that you should own it. There's a lot of other cryptocurrencies that are better, in my opinion. But why has it made its rounds as of late? It's because of this. So let's go ahead and pull this up. You have decoding Algorand's quantum defense. So some of the smartest people in the world right now, from Charles Hoskinson to some of the security team over at Coinbase, have deemed Algorand to be a front runner in quantum defense. So what I think is going to be a huge niche going into this next bull market, because I already start to see like the writing on the wall in this bear winter, is quantum computing. And I think like that word is as important as AI was in the year 2022. So in 2022, we had like LLM starting to sprout up. You had like OpenAI and ChatGPT starting to sprout up. But if you would have looked at 2023's price action with like Render or some of these other AI plays, they absolutely went parabolic. So I think quantum computing is going to be kind of like last cycle's AI in terms of how important we are and what space we're at in society. Because I already start to see the FUD that's happening. And, you know, if these networks are able to prove their networks or proof their networks, then they're going to be front runners in this. So this is essentially a Reddit post, but it's very important because it talks about like the issues with elliptic curve cryptography. That's like a huge buzzword right now in quantum computing, is how do we solve these things? Because some algorithms are way more safe than others. So for example, you have like SHA-256, which is Bitcoin's kind of like safety measure. If that's going to be a little different than how you crack other algorithms. There's different ways to crack stuff. There's like brute force, where you have unlimited attempts at something. If your password's not A, what if I try AA? If it's not AA, what if I try AAA? All the way to like you tried A, B, and then like you just force it. But the thing is, like, you're like, how that would take years to try. These computers are getting so efficient, especially with like good program with a good programming language where recursion is added to it, and it's able to just force its way through things. And we are pretty close, I'll be honest, where I think by the year 2030 there's going to be some issues. So quantum computing, even if we don't have issues, the speculation and basically what I just talked about is going to give this thing value. So I would not sleep on a Dino token that has rebranded itself into what the quantum resistance leader seems to be in the space. All right, very long-winded. Let's go ahead and throw those notes in here. You have quantum resistance Dino token, and also like just to like, it doesn't really rely completely on quantum resistance. It's like the number one use case at this point, I would say. But they have stuff like Proppy. They have some other apps in their network. So Proppy is like, you can own fractions of real estate and you can run it kind of like an Airbnb. So somebody like rents out that property and you own like 1/100th of that, or like 1% of that property. Then you get 1% of the funds. It's a really dope, awesome way to, you know, things that can happen. So tokenization of real estate. That's why crypto seems to be taking over the world, is RWAs. So I'm going to add that to here, RWAs on Algorand. All right. So real quick, I got two more to go through. If this is your first time here, smash that like. I'm Crux. I'm a fundamental analyst. I do this every Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And as long as we have at least 45 people in here, I will keep going past an hour. We're sitting at 45. So we will see if you guys continue to stay after these two other things. But after I give these other two, we're going to rank them 1 through 5, which is probably going to be the funnest part of this live stream. And yeah, so give me 1 second. Drink a little water. This is your opportunity to drink water and your reminder, and then we'll get back into it. Let's go. All right, some Q&A. Oh man, you guys are taking shots at me. So Daniel thinks 45K. Crux says 40K. Daniel says 45. Both of us, I would say most people that are technically inclined would say the bottom is not in. Hat in the hat. Are you buying more Kaspa or just keeping what you had for a while? Good question. For Crux in his household, I've only bought one time really, other than you guys spent my crypto a couple weeks ago. On the October 11th, the day after the biggest liquidation event in crypto history, is when I bought. So everybody was fudding. $20 billion in liquidation happened overnight in a single 24-hour period. And it was due to the Binance exploit. And Hyperliquid was the exchange that this insider used from the White House. And so a huge event to happen, a huge event happened, and that was pretty close to the bull market peak. I think there's a ton of manipulation there, but I took advantage of it. So that's when I was buying JPEG pixels of dogs or cats. So I bought a meme coin on October 11th, the day after the biggest liquidation event in crypto history. And my Toshi bag, I'll be honest, I think it's a little down, but if something's down with like 30%, 40% in a single 24-hour period, and I think it's going to survive the next bear winter, I'm taking that shot every time. Because I mean, there was a possibility that the bear market was not going to come. So I was like 60% probable in October that we are headed into bear winter. So I did call it right, but I wasn't 100%. I switched to 70% in like November that we were in bear winter. So and I think that's a good way to like help people with confidence on how sure are you, because currently I'm still 70% that the bottom is not in and that we are headed lower. So all right, Crux, don't be a Cowboy fan. That says we're going to the Super Bowl every single year. All offs. Hey, I'll be honest with you, V-Hunt, this is our year. So we are going to the Super Bowl, and that is fact. So look, if some of these teams that you've never heard of are starting to win championships, like think college football, Indiana, like who would have thought that would have happened? Even in who won the Super Bowl this year? It was some, how did I forget this? It wasn't the Saint. No, it's not the Saint. Not the Rams. I wanted the Broncos to win. Patriots. Was it I think it was the Patriots. Yeah, because it was super boring. That running back, he did very well, but everybody else didn't. Yeah. This is our year. Like weird teams are winning championships, and I think Dallas. As I always say that with a caveat. All right, Chris, Mike. I feel just that XRP losing its race in institutional payment adoption with other projects. So, Chris, you probably watched my XRP versus Canton video. And if you haven't yet, I strongly recommend you check it out. And also, there's another video that I have on my channel. It says Hidden Road on the thumbnail, Hidden Road. So this was a $1.3 billion acquisition that XRP, or Ripple Labs, as a privately traded company, purchased. And they rebranded Hidden Road to Ripple Prime or something like that. Anyways, this is a payment rail that is on the Canton network, and Canton is tied into DTCC, which is huge infrastructure. So what I personally do is I try to balance my XRP bags with my Canton bags. I think those are both pretty similar plays, even though they do way different things. Canton is a private network. XRP is a public network. It has its own ledger that you and me can use. It's not KYC focused like Canton is, but I think these are two very valuable projects and institutional winners that clearly the institutions are putting their hard-earned money into. So I would just say I would diversify some of your XRP into Canton network. I think those are two solid plays. What's the price prediction of Kaspa in 2026? So I typically don't do price predictions, Osama. And a project in its like second bull market is very difficult because I don't have multiple cycles to see if one got a higher high. If Kaspa got to a couple dollars, I wouldn't be surprised. But honestly, that is me just taking something and just running with it. The fundamentals are super strong. I know a lot about the fundamentals. The technicals, they're bearish, just like everything else in this bear market. And we will see. And what I said earlier is so true. If it doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger. So I expect Kaspa to do very well if it survives. Catch Ken says Kita and Repo. So I've heard of Kita. I've also think I've heard of Repo, but I don't know. Kita I talked about in my last video a week ago. So if you're just tuning in, I got 57 of y'all. Welcome in. I'm Crux. I'm a fundamental analyst. This is the top 5 mid-cap opportunities, asymmetric bets for the next bull run. A week ago, I did the top 5 low caps. I hit over 1,500 views. For a channel my size, that is astronomical. So you guys are loving this content. It's very interactive. I engage in my chat a lot, and I also teach. So I'll get here in the list in a second, but I'll tell you, our list so far is pretty dope. And after we go through the next 2, I'll rank them 1 to 5, and you guys have the alpha to go forth and multiply your bags. So that's what we're doing here at the Crux of Crypto. I need more Pepe, says Daniel. What is a good price to buy Aero? Okay, let's look at this one. Find a good price for this guy to buy some Aerodrome. So I covered Aero earlier. I gave my reasons on why I think Aerodrome is a very solid project to buy. And if my computer will work with me, I can explain technically why. Well. All right, so while that's loading, let's go back to this screen. All right, this is my list that I got going so far. You got Pepe, Aave, Aerodrome, Kaspa, Ondo, Morpho, Pump.fun, Algorand. If you missed any of those, I'll throw timestamps at the end of this. We got Ethena and Pudgy penguins to still go through. And then once I go through those 2, we'll rank these 1 to 5. All right, let's look at Aerodrome's price. And to answer that person's question earlier, perp dexes must be added to dexes. I do believe it's going to happen. I think Aero is going to be a slow mover because it does have the Coinbase effect of it, where there is some centralization, and with centralization brings slow progress in some things. So what I see is lower lows on the macro overall, but I think right now is actually a pretty solid opportunity. It going back down to 30 cents would not surprise me. If Bitcoin drops, this is definitely going to go under 30 cents because you have like this, just these lower lows across its entire existence. But at that point, 30 cents would definitely be a key opportunity to buy an Aerodrome. And again, that's not financial advice. I don't talk crazy price action, but that's a little rough estimate on when you could buy it. So, all right, let's get back to our list. Throw those questions in there. Also, if you have other projects between 50 and 100 that you want me to look at and add to this list, I'll do it. As long as I have at least 45 of you in here, I am live. So let's do it. We got Ethena. Crux, why'd you add Ethena to your list? So maybe this is your first time hearing about Ethena. What I like about this project, it is an algorithmic stablecoin, and people are running for the hills when they hear the word algorithmic stablecoin. So Do Kwon in 2022, he essentially tried to save the Terra Luna collapse. He's the founder of Terra Luna, and there was an exploit that happened where you had a project called Terra Luna, and then you had a UST stablecoin. And how algorithmic stablecoins work is this $1 peg stays $1 because anytime it depegs, it takes from this basket of funds. So if this is worth 40 billion, this is worth 40 billion, this comes down to 39 billion. Guess what? This comes down to 39.5, and that throws another 500 million into this, and now they're both 39.5. So that's kind of how algorithmic stablecoins work. Is you have an ecosystem that people are building DeFi on, smart contracts, RWAs, and then this other ecosystem is just pegged to $1. So there's essentially an exploit that happened where somebody took a smart contract and was able to figure it out, but they essentially wiped out both of these, and it took them like maybe a week. But we're talking about $60 billion vanishing, gone. And that's why people are super scared with algorithmic stablecoins. But let me tell you why Ethena is different. So Ethena uses a delta neutral hedging strategy where it uses Bitcoin, Ethereum, and like wrapped Ethereum. I think those are the only two, Bitcoin and Ethereum. So there's a little diversification there. And these are riskier assets. So it's not like your UST or USDC or USDT or USDC that are backed by like gold and safer things. Ethena is backed by more speculative things. So there is going to be some risk there, but it is less risky than like a Terra, for example. And if Bitcoin goes to zero, then of course Ethena is going to go to zero. But what they do is they have their Bitcoin back in it, they have their Ethereum back in it, they take both of these and they long and they short. It's called a delta neutral hedging strategy. So the risk isn't so much in the price action. As long as they're paying those fees for the trade, that's how they stay relevant. So that's how they add to the security of the network. I think it's brilliant. And now you have what not so much Satoshi envisioned, but you have something where you don't rely on the US dollar. So right now, give me one sec. All right. So the US dollar, it's been super volatile over the years, anywhere between wars, COVID, etc. It goes up, it goes down. So even stable coins, there's going to be some volatility that can happen there. Um, Bitcoin, Ethereum, they're going to be definitely more volatile, but they're not backed by, maybe a military. So a lot of people say the United States dollar is backed by the power of the United States military. And there's definitely some truth to that. Also, petrodollar. So there's definitely some like currencies in the world that exist based off of things that exist in the world, as opposed to just strictly like hashing power that's backing Bitcoin or people putting their money into Ethereum. So I don't know. I think backing crypto with crypto is just awesome. It's an awesome concept, and Ethena is the front runner in that. And then let me quickly show you how it looks like. So these are the different products over there on Ethena. You have ENA, that's like their main token. You have ENA, I think that's like your staked Ethena. And then you have the SUDE and then USDE. So USDE is the stable coin I just talked about. That's backed by wrapped Bitcoin, and it's backed by, well, so Ethena is actually the ones that are backed by those, but USDE is created out of Ethena. It's a little complex, but let me show you some of the rates actually, just so you understand why you would do this. So this is Ethena.5. This is like the main website. If you have like your your SUSDE, which is again backed by a little bit more volatile assets than like US dollar, then it's going to be a higher yield, 11.6%. So being able to get that kind of yield on a stable coin is pretty crazy. The current rates are about 3.7%, so it's not competitive. I'm not sure why they're so low, but there's a lot of opportunity in this ecosystem. So there you go, 11.6%. Who would fade that? Well, let's go ahead and update our tracker on trying to look for this top 5. So algorithmic stablecoin backed by crypto, backed by safe cryptos. Boom. There we go. All right, and the moment you all been waiting for, Pudgy penguins. So this is our third meme coin. We talked about Pepe. We talked about Pump.fun, even though it's a launch pad. Pudgy penguins. Why is it on your list? So Pudgy penguins already filed for a ETF as well, so it's right up there with Pepe. I'm not sure which one's going to be the first ETF, Pepe or Pudgy, but Pudgy penguins is much bigger than just a meme coin. So Pepe has like the boys club narrative behind it. You have Andy Wolf, Brett, all those other ones. But Pudgy Penguins has a game. It's being sold in Target, like different products like dolls. There's NFTs that they released like their fishing poles not too long ago. You have institutions that are actually buying this. Like there's treasuries in the world that have Pengu on its balance sheet, which is absolutely crazy. So this is a project that I think people should diversify into. I'm not, again, I said this earlier, I'm not going to beat you up if you have meme coins. I don't think everyone should have it, but I'm also not going to beat you up if you don't have it. I think it's kind of like your free will going into that one. I personally hold meme coins. I think with what I've seen, whenever social sentiment happens and euphoria happens, these tokens are second to none. Because what happens is 100% of meme coins are tokenized, or 100% of tokens come into circulation on day one with meme coins. And what happens is like, all right, I held Ondo, I held on to it for a year, and I'm up 18% on my bags. January 18th, there's this infamous unlock where like 17% of the tokens unlock. They take them and they dump on you. With meme coins, you don't have that. Meme coins is like, as long as you survive 30% pullbacks and 6 months of price action, then 99% of the time it is not a rug. All you got to do at that point is get an investor to really push it. So if we can get institutions and especially ETFs behind this, like Pudgy Penguins, Pepe, these are on Robinhood. So people that are able to open a brokerage can get access to it. And we're in like a new era of crypto where I think people are going to like this stuff. So people don't understand every 4 years, 210,000 blocks get mined. Bitcoin does a halving event, da 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 da. People want to know just like, what's the cool dog to invest in that's going to give me 3x in the next 5 months? Like, that's what people want to know. And that's the vast majority of society. They don't care about this new monetary system that is changing the world of Bitcoin. A lot of people just care about their own bags. So meme coins, that's who this market is. And I think it's a good market. So just my thoughts. You know, you don't, again, I'm not going to beat you up if you disagree, but I've made a good amount of money on meme coins and I'm not going to fade them yet. So, all right, so let's look at that last list. This is it. This is our last list. Pudgy Pingu. You got ETF coming soon. You have treasury allocation plus real world products. And that is our list. So real quick, let's go ahead and give a quick brief overview, rank these 1 to 5, read some questions. And if there's 45 people still here, we will go ahead and we can look at more if y'all want, as long as I have 45 in here. All right. So Pepe, you got your carry capital ETF. You have, I compared it to Shiba Inu. So why did I compare Pepe with Shiba? It's because Shiba is in its second bull market. Pepe was in its first. So I compared Shiba in its first bull market compared to Pepe in its first, going into its second. And what I saw is Shiba did not get back to its all-time high of 2021. But what it did do is outperform Bitcoin and Dogecoin. So Bitcoin did 8.3x from 15.5 to 126K. Shiba Inu did a 10x. And no, Shiba Inu did a 10x. So Dogecoin did a 9x from 5 cents to 45 cents. So the lower cap you go for the meme coin that you think is going to win and hold true, then I could consider Pepe most likely is going to do a 10x this next bull run. And also, Shiba did not have an ETF, or did it have the Robinhood listing in 2021? So, or actually in 2023. No, I guess it did have its Robinhood listing last bull market. So I'm not going to use Robinhood, but that Canary Capital ETF could definitely flip Pepe. So I expect at least a 10x minimum from Pepe this next bull market. Moving on, we got Aave. Aave was just purchased by quite a bit of tokens from Circle Ventures. So I always swim with the whales. Circle Ventures is the second biggest stablecoin out there, and they also have a huge treasury. They're supporting the crypto industry, and I love to see it. So I definitely like Aave. It's at low prices due to the exploit, and as long as it survives, we're good. So Aerodrome is next. This is, instead of a borrowing and lending platform like Aave, you have a DEX. So this is a swapping platform. It leads DeFi in the fee revenue, and the metrics look very healthy for a bear winter. I went through that earlier. Kaspa. So this, you got the Takata hard fork coming in about 5 weeks. You have Dag Knight as early as Q3, and then going into next year, we're going to have 100 blocks per second plus VProgs going into next year. So huge opportunity there. I will definitely cover it more tomorrow. So tomorrow at this time, you will see a video on Kaspa, and it's going to be my 8th video that I've dropped. So I've been very loyal to this community, and they've been loyal to me. So I appreciate you guys for supporting me. Let's move on to Ondo Finance. So since September of 2025, so not even that long ago, they've added over 700 million in tokenized stocks to 2 pre-existing products already, and they are absolutely crushing it on the institutional front. The partnerships are second to none in crypto, and I like to see it. Morpho, also, quick note on Ondo Finance, because I see a lot of FUD going on, and I get it. It's a governance token. There's no use case. I actually made a whole video about this last week that has about 2.5 thousand views on it, and it's why I think the Omni chain. So it's going to be an L1 designed by Ondo Finance, because right now there's 11 different networks that are connected to Aave through bridging. And I think once they're able to create their own layer 1, which they're waiting on the Clarity Act to release that, I think it's going to be a pretty big boost. So Clarity Act, Omni chain are going to be the 2 things that really pick Ondo up, and also clarity of tokenized stocks to really send that price. So a lot of people are fudding it. I would not FUD it. Morpho. This is very similar to we talked about Aave earlier, but you have like your centralized Aave in a sense. Because Coinbase is more or less behind it, you're able to lend out yield and also borrow against your assets. I think currently Coinbase allows up to $100,000 of your Bitcoin to be lent out. So again, you can lend out $1,000, maybe 1.5 Bitcoin, and you can get like maybe 0.5 Bitcoin and just go buy more Bitcoin if you want to. For you degens out there, do not do this. So I have some crazy stories where I've done that, and it actually, if I would have sold at the right time, I would have absolutely crushed it. I borrowed like $60,000 worth like 100. I lent out 100K, took 60K, put it into Cardano, watched it come down like 20%. I'm freaking out. I'm like, man, I'm down double, not just on my original bag, on my loan. And then Aave or Cardano shot up, and I turned like, I want to say a loss into like 6 figures in like 5 weeks. It was absolutely crazy. And then it came back down, and I basically just broke even. So what I would definitely recommend is you don't take loans against your crypto until you feel like the bear market bottom is in. Once the bear market bottom is in and Bitcoin's at 40K, lend out your 2 Bitcoin worth 80K for your 40K. And then if you want, you could take that 40K and then put it in a Bitcoin. You know, and again, that's not financial advice. That's super risky. But if you're going to do it, that's the best time to do it, because if you borrow against your 2 Bitcoin, most likely it's not going to go from 40K down to like 20 and whatever. So it's already taken the massive hit from a bear winter. So I hope that helps you, degens out there. Let's move on to the other degens and talk about Pump.fun. So you have your meme launchpad. It's just done very well during euphoric periods. So I talked about that earlier. You got Algorand. Algorand's your quantum resistance crypto. It's a Dino token that survived multiple bear winters, and it has its RWAs that are involved. You got Ethena, algorithmic stablecoin, delta neutral hedging strategy, and it uses Bitcoin and Ethereum to back it for creating stablecoins and yield. And then lastly, you got Pudgy Pingu. This is where your ETF is going to come. You have a little merger of kind of real world products in there, and then also treasuries that are buying it. So that is the skinny of the top mid-cap cryptos. So let's quickly look at your comments, and then we'll throw these into the top 5. I got 56 of you guys in here, which is a lot of people. Man, like every single day, or every single Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard, my live streams are absolutely blowing up. Again, channels my size do not hit 1,500 views in a live stream. Usually we hit like maybe 200 to 300. I'm hitting like the same views, like 30 to 40,000 plus channels of subscribers hit. And we are absolutely crushing it here on the alpha. You guys are very engaging. You guys are helping me help you, and I appreciate that. So let's read some of these comments and see if there's any projects. Again, don't be throwing low caps at me. Don't talk about XRP right now. Let's find the top 5 best mid caps in crypto that exist, and let's buy them. All right. Crux, do we really need wrapped anything in today's markets? I'm generally asking because I don't hear much about anything wrapped anymore. So Ken, very good question. Wrapped Bitcoin has a purpose. So for those that don't know, wrapping is essentially having a product and creating another product or a synthetic version on another network. Why would you do this? Because this network allows programmability. So if I have Bitcoin, I have programmability, I can add it to DeFi, right? That's pretty big. If I'm able to get 2-3% APY passively on my Bitcoin, it's a pretty big thing. Now, what's happened historically is sometimes you have your Bitcoin, you swap it 1 for 1 for this, but then it depegs. So I don't think personally the risk is worth doing. And here is an example of that. You have Kelp DAO. This is like the recent Aave attack. You had something called restaked ETH. RS ETH is the ticker. People would take their ETH, they'd put it into this platform, they'd get something called RS ETH back. It's another token. They take this other token to Aave or some other platform. They lend it out for like 2% APY. They take that token and lend it out for another 1%. And it's like a cascade of restaked tokens. So whenever you wrap a token or you create a synthetic version of something, every time you add a layer of complexity, you add a way to get exploited. So to me, again, if you have $100,000 of a cryptocurrency and I'm trying to get that 3% APY, that's $3,000 a year. you risk, so you're risking all of that money for $3,000. It's just not worth it. And this is somebody who lost 38 Ethereum in Celsius. So I have 38 Ethereum I'm never going to see again. Over 150K at the time that it was locked up. I have 22K from UST. I talked about that earlier, that I'll never see again. And many other exploits that I've been part of. It is just not worth it. If you have your crypto, the best thing you can do is diversify it across different avenues to get it. So the most important would be your cold storage. So you have like ledgers, Tangent wallets, etc. Hardware wallets are very important. Second, I would definitely also suggest keeping some of your crypto on a centralized exchange. And people are probably going to hate me for saying that, but but having your crypto on a centralized exchange, what does this allow you to do? So if my crypto is on Coinbase, there's something called like whitelisting. So nobody could take any crypto off of your Coinbase account in 48 hours or less. So anytime that a transaction or withdrawal happens, you're going to get an email, you're going to get notified on your phone that this is happening. You have 48 hours to go in and remove it from happening if you didn't do it. So that's one. You have two-factor authentication. And then also you have a lot of times where these centralized institutions will say they were responsible for something and they'll pay you back. So the worst thing that can happen is if you have your crypto on a hardware wallet and somebody broke into your house or they're able to get access to it and they take it, there's nobody that can help you with it. So that's why I think diversifying most into a hardware wallet, some into a centralized exchange, and then you could have some otherwhere. So never have it all in one place. I'll tell you that. I've never been like actually hacked from like my own personal wallets. But I have been smoked trying to take advantage of yield opportunities. So that's probably where you should stay away from unless you're just a veteran and you have a plan to get out of it. And right now, honestly, DeFi is just way too risky. So if you look at Aave, that whole thing cascaded across so many other networks. So Kelp DAO, Aave was the main exploit, but then we have like 15 to 20 other small people that will never be heard of that lost tens of thousands of dollars. Aave is just the known person that got smoked. Everybody else got smoked too, but they're not big enough for it to be a reason to talk about it. So, all right, very long-winded. MP, what up, Crux? Sorry, late. Have to discuss BDX. Okay, so BDX, MP, I'm sorry, it's not in these top 50 or between 50 and 100. That's what I'm covering today. The next live stream, I'll most likely cover. All right, well, let's do it. Let's do it because I did tell you I'll cover it. So we're gonna break what we've already started here, but we're gonna learn about this other project that I talked about. It's called BDX. So Crux, why are you throwing this other project in our face? We're talking about midcaps today because I think there's an opportunity here. That's why. So I talked about quantum computing earlier. I talked about how I think it's going to be a leading niche going into the next bull market. But what I'm having patience for are what are the other niches? I think security tokens. So going into October of last year, we had Zcash, which introduced, well, it's not the first cryptocurrency to introduce zero knowledge proofs, but it's the one that got it adopted. So Bitcoin didn't create peer-to-peer, it got adopted. Ethereum did not create smart contracts, it got it adopted. Zcash did not create ZK proofs, but it got it adopted. And so these privacy tokens, what essentially they allow you to do is send somebody your address, but they can't see the activity that happens on that address. Now, there's different ways that they handle this. Some of them allow shielding, so that's a Zcash function. You can shield your transaction. 20% of the transactions on Zcash are shielded. The other 80%, people can freely go and see it. Therefore, you're telling me Zcash is not really being used for the reason it was created. Monero, on the other hand, 100% of all the transactions that happen on the Monero network are secure, or are private rather, so you can't go see anybody else's transactions. This one, so this price action definitely does look a lot less volatile than what I would really like. Kind of frozen right now, but let that work its way. As of late, it's done fairly well, but what I like to see are projects that move as a niche. So if privacy tokens are pumping, this token it pumps. at the same time that Zcash started to take off, Beldex did fairly well. So I'm just expecting that it's a much lower market cap. It survived multiple bear winters. I think there's an opportunity there with Beldex. So I hope that helps, MP. If you have any other questions, definitely ask in Discord, and I'll make sure you are taken care of, brother. Thank you for supporting the channel. All right, let's check out some other stuff. I got 60 of y'all in here. Awesome. What up, Ken? 52 in the house, 56. Look, these are like close to all-time. Well, I used to have 100 plus, but that's whenever crypto was pumping like last year. Now, I usually never hit this many, so I'm super appreciative for all y'all to be here. We are spitting out for today, and the moment you all been waiting for. So let's go ahead and get into it. Let's rank these top 5 cryptocurrencies. We are about 90 minutes past the start of this live stream, so we have the energy, we have the knowledge, so let's make it happen. Get over into the list. If you're just tuning in, these are our list of cryptos and why they deserve to be in a portfolio as a mid-cap opportunity. Mid-cap should be about 15% of a portfolio, so 50% to Bitcoin, or 50% into Bitcoin, 30% into large caps. We got 15% here, and then we got 5% into the low caps. We've already covered the low caps last week. This is going to be your 15% section. We'll probably cover, if this live stream does very well, like it's already doing, we'll probably cover the large caps next week. So you guys let me know in the comments right now. Should I waste my time covering the low caps? This is about 30% of a portfolio. I think it's pretty important. I can go over Solana, basically anything in the top 50 we'll consider a large cap. So you guys let me know in the comments. If not, that's fine. I could throw another $1,000 into a wallet, like a base wallet, and we can spend it live like we did on the Solana Phantom wallet. You guys let me know what you want to see. All right, let's get back to this. So first of all, you see the shirt, Kaspa, Kaspa, Kaspa. We got K's in chat. If you got some Kaspa, let's go ahead and run polls. Actually, that's good. That'll be pretty fun. All right, so we're gonna throw Kaspa at 1 because we got to do it. I already know that one's gonna win if we run polls. By the way, so if this is your first time here, like we are huge on Kaspa, so we're just gonna knock that one out. All right, we need to find these other 4 cryptocurrencies. Let's go ahead and throw Pepe, Aave, Aerodrome, and Ondo. Pepe, Aave, Aerodrome, Ondo. Pepe, Aave, Aerodrome, Ondo. All right, just throw those in chat. You can only choose one. Pepe, Aave, Aerodrome, Ondo. Only choose one. Go. All right, throw those in chat. I'm not going to run a poll right now based off of that. So what is your favorite mid-cap crypto? Ondo won that one. Dang, Ondo beat Kaspa. Pretty crazy. All right, so Ondo is clearly going to win this one. So let's go ahead and move that one. Ondo is a winner. I dropped a video a week ago. It's already 2,500 views. You guys are loving that one. I love Ondo. I hold a lot of it, by the way. And I think you should too. Not financial advice. We got Kaspa, we got Ondo. Let's see what the chat is talking about today. We got some Ondo, got some Aerodrome. All right, let's redo it. So let's go Pepe, Aave, Aero. Don't do Ondo anymore. That one already made the list. Go. Pepe, Aave, Aero. Throw those comments in there. Which one are we rocking with? If I get a lot in a specific one, we'll add that one. If not, we're going to have to jump into the other ones that we haven't hit yet. So, and if you don't want any of those, don't say anything. So Pepe, Aave, and Aerodrome. So me personally, that's a good little list of tokens. I would probably choose Aave at these prices, but Aerodromes, all of them are good, honestly. We got a lot of arrows. Arrow, Pepe, Arrow. So it looks like, yeah. All right, we got to go with Arrow. 5 of y'all already said it. Nobody else said Aave or Pepe. So Aerodrome is definitely going to get into this top 5 list. Make it happen. Boom, Arrow. All right, let's see if there's a lot of people that like these other ones. So let's go with these. Morpho, Pump, Algorand, and Ethena. Morpho, Pump, Ethena, And Ethena. Morpho, Pump, Ethena. What did I say the other one was? Algorand. There we go. Algo. Go. All right. Morpho, Pump, Ethena, Algorand. So we already got some Algorands going in chat. Algo has to be. It's been proven token. We got a Morpho in there. All right, MP. We got another Morpho. Tony. So we got some Morpho and Algorands. We're not seeing any Ethena or Pump yet. But let's give it a little time. Let's see if we got anybody else other than Morpho and Algo. We got a... Looking pretty good, though. Algo, says Mike. Algo, says Daniel. All right, so Algorand. Look, Jesse just came through. V-Hunt came. All right, so Algorand clearly deserves to be in this list. And if you guys don't know why, I talked about the quantum resistance narrative it has going for itself. And I think that is a huge narrative going into the next bull market, especially something that survived multiple bear winters. All right, so we have our top 4 right now. That's not on this list. Let's go ahead and put these into another poll. We got Pudgy, Pump, Morpho, Aave, and Pepe. So which one do I not think is going to make it? Let's go with Ethena. I don't think Athena's going to make it. So we go Pengu, Pepe, Aave, Pump. Pengu, Pepe. And I might actually do a real poll for this one. For the very last one. Vote now. You can only do one. Pengu, Pepe, Aave, and Morpho. There we go. This is a rule poll. There's a real poll going on. This is the last one for the top 5. What's it going to be? You can only vote for one. What's it going to be? So we got a good little kickstart. Pengu. Oh, Aave came through. Aave's winning this one. You guys are loving the DeFi. Aave and Morpho are crushing it. Pengu's taking the L. Pepe taking the L. I'm going to get this one 10 more seconds. It looks like Aave's going to win this one. And I understand why, because Aave has taken a hit lately. And also, check this. Your boy Crux. Actually, it's not that one. It is this one. I'm dropping this video on Friday. And it's going to be about the Aave exploit. But I'm going to tell you guys why I think Aave is still a good buy. And I don't know. Maybe I'll throw some little price action in there for you. So that video is going to come out Friday. This video is dropping tomorrow. So if you're a Kaspa fanatic, throw the K's in chat. This video is awesome. It's probably going to be like 14 minutes long. I go over the Takata hard fork. It's coming out in 5 to 6 weeks. I go over the Oxford speech. I go over like Dag Knight. I go over like stuff that's happening in Q3 that's absolutely going to revolutionize Kaspa. And in 2027, we're going to have 2 major things. It's going to be VProgs and then also 100 BPS. So for the first time, for the first time, any cryptocurrency that has ever been able to rival the speeds of Visa will happen next year. So just for proof of reference, Solana is about 6,000 TPS. Yeah, about 6,000 TPS. It's a proof of stake network. It's very centralized. Kaspa has hit over 5,800 TPS on its main net. It's a proof of work network. So Kaspa is almost the fastest proof of work, or Kaspa is almost the fastest blockchain out there, point blank. But it's a proof of work network, so it's more decentralized and secure than Solana. There's a roadmap across the next year that is going to push it from 10 blocks per second to 100 blocks per second. So this time next year, we could be 10 times faster. And if it hit that 5,800 TPS on the mainnet, yes, as like, just because it's faster, it doesn't mean it can hold the same amount. So I will say it's not an automatic 10x, but saying it can go from 5,800 to well over 30,000, 40,000 TPS where Visa's currently at is not far-fetched. So definitely be on the lookout for this video. And let's check out this poll real quick to see who won. Aave is our winner. So let's give a quick recap of the top 5 winners of the mid-cap opportunities in crypto. Where's Aave? All right. So if you're just tuning in, welcome. Go ahead and cross all these out. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right. So let me try to do this in under 2 minutes. Give me 2 minutes. I'm going to explain all 5 of these. Let's go. All right, so first of all, Kaspa, I just talked about the Takata hard fork. It comes out in 5 weeks. You have DAG Knight as early as Q3 of this year. It's 100 blocks per second. And then you have VProgs that is coming next year. This adds programmability to the network. So it's went from a peer-to-peer, very scalable network that's decentralized and secure. And now you're adding rules through covenants to the tokens. And then you're adding programmability of off-chain computation through VProgs. Moving on, we got Ondo Finance. This was a token that has been in its really its first bull market, but it's kind of going from the TradFi markets into tokenization. So they're a real world asset play. And since 2025, they've been tokenizing stocks, September of 2025. So just about a little over half a year. And they've already hit 700 mil in tokenized assets total value lock, which is absolutely crazy. They are crushing it on Ondo. The Clarity Act and on the Omni chain are absolutely going to send that one to the moon. Next up, we got Aerodrome. Aerodrome is a DeFi platform. It is very tied to Coinbase. So if you know anything about the Base network, which is the decentralized like blockchain that Coinbase runs, Aerodrome is the leading swap location where you're able to swap your cryptocurrencies out there. So awesome. The metrics look very healthy for a bear winter. They're actually going sideways, but if you look at almost any other DEX, they're basically going straight down. So DEXs are getting crushed right now. If you're able to go sideways, it means that you have momentum. It's being stifled. So expect Aerodrome to fly whenever the bullish price action comes. Next up, we got Algorand. So Algorand is a layer one opportunity. It's been around for multiple bull markets, so it is technically a Dino token. They were first known as being a real world asset play, famously known for being backed, not so much backed, but mentioned by what's it? Gary Gensler. So Gary Gensler talked pretty bullishly on this whenever he hated everything else. Sylvia Mackay, he's a Turing Award winner. And you got a person that is just incredibly smart that has allowed this blockchain to thrive. And then as of lately, it's been the #1 winner in the quantum resistant space. And then next up, we have Aave. So Aave is going to be a little bit different than your Aerodrome where you're swapping. It's going to be your borrowing and lending platform. It took a massive hit with this Kelp DAO exploit. And I think you're in a good opportunity to buy at these prices. Circle Ventures just bought some. And then you got some centralized and decentralized exchanges that are supporting Aave into its next era of crypto. So I hope that helps. That is the top 5 mid-cap cryptocurrencies in under 2 minutes. And I had a lot of fun actually, here building this list with you guys. So I need more algo, says Daniel. Aerodrome, says Angel. Pengu. We got K's in chat. You guys are loving this list. I see a lot of people that are happy about it. I don't see anybody upset about it. I think I've hit every single token that you guys wanted me to this live stream. Chris said, dang, 3K in Kaspa spot. Now let it sit until 2028. I need that t-shirt. He's talking about this one. This Kaspa is the king of crypto. I think it's the best project in all of crypto, and I'll put my money on it. Great video, says Crux. Thank you, Ross. Appreciate you. Thank you for support. Brian, hold 3 of the 5. Let's go. So Brian, you're doing good, brother. You are doing good. Actually, let's talk about go over our Solana wallet that we had the other day. So if you're just tuning in, 2 weeks ago, I gave you guys a whole bunch of Solanas, like $950 worth. You guys have turned it into a little over $1,000. So I'm I'm up like $60. I'm probably gonna go get a steak dinner later. And you guys have allowed this to do well. So I'm trying to figure out how do I get this into my normal portfolio. Here we are. So let that load. So I put about $950 into this. Solana was pretty volatile that day, so I couldn't get the full 1K, but I'm up $63. Now I did give you guys because let's look, we got to look at the portfolio. I gave you guys a 7 out of 10 on this portfolio. I don't know why none of the buttons are working. They're there. What the heck? So I gave you guys a 7 out of 10. We got some Pudgy Pengu. That one's absolutely crushing it. We got some Zebic Network. By the way, that's my first time ever buying Zebic, and that's a token I really wanted, so I'm glad you guys chose that one. Pith, that's the 3rd best one that's up there. We got some Tars AI and some Render. So Render's not feeling it. It's not wanting to do well, but I think it'll pick up. Pudgy, it's leading the pack. You guys, I give you a 7 out of 10, but what we're going to do pretty soon, I'm going to give you $1,000 you can put into a Coinbase wallet. We're going to go to Aerodrome, and you guys are going to spend my $1,000, and we're going to get at least an 8 out of 10, because I think you guys are going to learn, and that's what we're doing here at the Crux of Crypto. You guys are spending my money. I'm teaching you, and we're going to see the fruits of our labor. So that's pretty cool. I don't think anybody else is doing this, and I think you guys are enjoying it, and that's why we're getting the views that we're getting. So, again, this is almost 100 minutes past the start of the hour. I've been super long-winded here, and we are above 45 viewers right now, so I don't want to just end this on y'all, because I told you, as long as we have 45 here, we will get some alpha going. So you guys throw any other comments in here. If you guys want me to hit it, I will make sure I hit it. If not, we'll go ahead and wrap this up. So you should do a price prediction live show, Crux. Definitely, as we go into a bull market, I can do that. What I need to do my price predictions is a bear market bottom. And I explain this through my 4-year cycle theories. If Bitcoin does its diminishing return, it's all based off of the bear market bottom. So if Bitcoin was 15.5 and it went to 126, last bull market, that's an 8.2x. I know it's 8.2x because it went from a low to a high. If Bitcoin bottoms out at 60K, and it's going to do a diminished return of a 4x, let's just say a 4x. 60 times 4, that's 240,000. That is my prediction for Bitcoin. So I can't give my prediction until the bottom is in, and I believe it's not in yet. So, but that's a good suggestion, Angel. I can definitely do that for you. So if you want some of those, make sure you subscribe. Also, make sure you comment after this. It'll definitely help push my video. Maybe I can even get 2,000 views on this video, which would be mind-blowing for a channel my size. Virtual, says Tony. So I definitely like virtual. This is actually one of the reasons I gave you guys a 7 out of 10. So I'm a little upset with you guys on this one. You guys did not have me buy virtual in my Phantom wallet, but that's okay. That is okay. Actually, let's do this. I have some Solana over here in my Phantom wallet. I have 6.4 Solana. Let's go ahead and open a poll. Should I use a Solana on some virtual token right now? And whatever you guys say, I will do. So should I swap one Solana for one virtual? Yes or no? And let me give you you don't have to answer yet. I can walk you through why I think virtual is worth buying. So let's go over here. Virtual is a AI agents network. It's kind of a first mover. I always like to invest in diverse movers. I think AI agents are going to be a massive niche case going into the next bull market. And Virtual's protocol has been around for a while. That's the chart. Like overall did extremely well last bull market. I made a good amount of money on it. I didn't take enough profits, I'll be honest. But I think there's going to be opportunities going forward with this. So when you hear like Pump.fun, you hear like a launch pad. Think of Virtuals like a launch pad for AI agents. And AI agents are essentially beings that live on the internet. They're able to constantly do things when you're asleep, or they can help you with reservations for, I don't know, dinner tonight. They are your living being on the internet, and you could tie your crypto wallet to it so it can spend money on your behalf. Virtuals protocol allows you to do social media type like use cases, and I don't know, it's just an awesome platform that I really resonate with. And I think it definitely struck a nerve with me. So I hope you guys want me to buy some of this with my Solana, but if you don't, you don't. And that's okay, because I think Solana is a very solid project. And I think Solana will probably by itself do like probably a 7 to 8x minimum next bull market. So, all right, check out this poll going on. Get virtual in the base wallet. Ooh. What is going on in this poll, y'all? 50% yes, 50% no. So, all right, we're not doing it. We are just going to cut off the poll right now. Daniel, you had a very good suggestion. We get it in the Coinbase wallet. We could do that. So if you didn't know, Virtuals is it's on multiple networks. So you can get it on Coinbase. You can also get it on Solana. So we'll definitely add that to our current. Oh, let's do this. Next week, so you guys are crushing it, by the way. We just found the 5 best mid cap opportunities in all of crypto, asymmetrically, ready to set us up for the next bull run. Last week, we did the top 5 low caps. You guys saw the $1,000 portfolio. I just showed it to you on Phantom. Next week, do you want two things? Do you want a $1,000 Coinbase wallet, or do you want a top 5 large cap opportunity where I go over XRP, Solana, anything in the top 50? I'll go over Canton Network or whatever you guys want to hear, but let's see what next week's live stream will be. We'll pull it right now. Next week's live stream. Daniel voted no. So we got some pretty smart people in these comments that did not want Crux to spend his Solana on virtuals. So 1K Coinbase or base ecosystem wallet. Or we will do, what was that second option? Top five large cap cryptos. Alrighty, so poll is live right now, and let me go over what those top 5 look like. So going back to our Excel document, today we just found these as our top 5 mid-cap opportunities in crypto. I'll timestamp it. You can go back and watch it later. This is the top 5 low-cap opportunities up here. So you got Kita, QRL, Horizon, Centrifuge, 4.meme. You can go through my video I dropped a week ago to really understand why I chose those. This is our $1,000 portfolio. This is our Phantom wallet. I just showed it to you. You guys spent my money. If you vote, it'll be the same exact like interactive activity, but instead of a Phantom wallet on the Jupiter ecosystem, we'll do a Coinbase wallet on Aerodrome's DEX. And I talked a little bit about earlier today. This is kind of your risk to reward strategy. Most of you guys should not be throwing all your crypto into these small caps. 5%'s okay. Mid caps 15, large caps 30, Bitcoin 50. And as you can see, this list is already different than the top 5 because I did this about a month ago. These were like 5 of them that I thought should make the list. Virtual, Pengu, Lit, ATH, and Kita. Some of those are up there that did definitely make it. And then the mid caps. So Sui is definitely not a mid cap. I don't know why I put it there. It's definitely gonna be in the large caps. I can cover that next week if you guys want me to. HBAR is definitely not a mid cap either. So this list is already outdated, but keep the allocations in mind because the large caps to the small caps and Bitcoin, that's about a good balance that most of you should have. And then also, you have to understand what you should be doing throughout a bull market. So real quick, I'm a guy on YouTube. Why are you listening to me? So in 2020, I started investing into cryptocurrencies right at the end of the COVID dump. So I got a good buy, I'm not going to lie. I started actually investing for the first time. I bought some Tesla stock, Nvidia, and then I started diversifying into Bitcoin. And I noticed that Bitcoin was outperforming everything. So by Q4 of 2020, I put all of my Tesla, all of my Nvidia, everything into Bitcoin. This is when Bitcoin was around $13,000. And I say Bitcoin, I meant crypto interchangeably. So I was watching people like Ben Armstrong, and I was buying VeChain, I was buying Cardano, all these different crypto projects. Anyways, I turned 130K into $1.3 million in 6 months. So I've been there, done that. I understand crypto. I understand the sentiment, and I lost 700K in 3 weeks. And we're talking about May of 2021. So I tell you guys the good, I tell you the bad, and I tell you how to profit. So some people, they pay more to learn. So whenever you lose in crypto, don't think that you need to run, right? If you just lost in crypto and you ran away, there's no learning opportunity there. But if you understand it was your fault that you lost the cryptocurrency and eventually you become numb to it and keep the emotions out of it, you become lethal in this market. And that's why the Crux of Crypto is doing so well, is because you guys are understanding my story and hopefully it resonates with you. But this next bull market, this is how I see it playing out. Q4 this year is October. We bottom out around $40,000. You're heavy into Bitcoin. I just told you 50%. You got the crypto stocks. If you don't believe me, look at Marathon, look at any crypto stocks out there in the year of 2023, right? So 2022, Bitcoin goes down to 15.5. It bottoms out. We leave bear winter. the crypto stocks absolutely crushed it for that year. So Marathon did a 10x in a year. So I think this is when you should be holding MicroStrategy, etc. As you learn on what niches are working, for example, AI is doing good, quantum computing is doing good. Maybe we're a little early to privacy tokens. I don't know. You're figuring out what is working and what's not working. When you get to Q1 2028, that's when you buy what is working. RWAs is working, AI, DeFi, perp dexes, whatever. And you just don't buy what's not working. And then for that year, you get, hopefully you'll make some money. But that last part, that Q1 2029, that was Crux when he put 130K into crypto. And the reason I find extremely important that third phase is because that's the most parabolic phase in crypto. So that is a bull run year. I think 2029, we're going to see it, but you really won't know the fruits of your labor until about 4 years from today. A little bit more than, a little bit after 4 years from today. So 2029, Q3 or so, I think is going to be the peak of the next bull market. But maybe we'll see, because we might not go into another year-long bear winter like we always do. And that's why you should stay up to date on cryptocurrency. And my channel is second to none in keeping you up to date, so make sure you subscribe. And I got 51 of y'all in here, so I'm going to keep going. All right. Let's see what the poll's saying. Dang, another 50-50 poll. You guys are killing me. Another one? So if you're just now tuning in, I just did a poll for you guys. Does Crux swap one Solana for one virtual token? Or no, do I swap one Solana for virtual tokens? It was 50-50, so I didn't do it. Next week's live stream is decided on you. Whoever votes next, because right now it's 50-50. So whoever has the next vote in here will decide what we're doing a week from today, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard at the Crux of Crypto. And we will wait here until we see this next thing go up. We got $1,000 base ecosystem wallet, where I put $1,000 worth of USDC into a base wallet, and then you guys spend it. So I'll buy some, let's just say, maybe some Brett, maybe some Toshi, maybe virtuals. There's a lot of different Coinbase ecosystem plays, but it looks like the 1K wallet just won. So I trust you guys. Honestly, we're on a pullback, so I think it's okay to spend a little money on the crypto right now. But you guys know I like to bulk buy. I bought 90% of my portfolio sub $30,000 Bitcoin, no, sub 25K Bitcoin last bear winter, because I understand the 4-year cycle. I have patience. And whenever you see stuff go up and then back down and then up, lower high, and then back down, lower low, all of these times it goes up, you FOMO in and you get wrecked. And I'm trying to tell y'all, stop doing that. Please just stop doing it. There's something called DCAing. That's the only thing that I think is okay to do. So if you have Bitcoin for 100K and you buy that 100K, but now it's 70K, you buy the 70K Bitcoin and it drops your average to like 85K. And then now your average is 85K. It comes down to 60K. You drop your 85K average by buying the 60K Bitcoin. And that's how you do it. You rinse and repeat. What I do, what I've done in the past, is I bulk buy. So I have like 4 different reasons on why I will buy crypto in the next like 6 months. The most important one I would say is going to be October. It's just the timeline based on the 4-year cycle. The second reason would be a long-term holder realized price. And I'm not going to go too far into explaining that because it's a whole video out there. And maybe next live stream I'll talk about it, because we are 2 hours past the start of this live stream, and that's a long time to be doing lives. You guys gotta understand it's 2 hours. That's 120 minutes, and talking like this is pretty hard on the body. So without further ado, I do appreciate everybody that tuned in. You guys, this has been like my favorite live stream so far. I think we might hit 2,000 views on it, and we are becoming the next face of crypto in live, like watching it happen right here. And I got to take my hat off to you guys. So Crux, just trying to get some dinner, but 50 views. Yeah, you guys are killing me with these viewers. I'm not gonna lie too. I didn't even want to do the 1,000 base ecosystem wallet next week, but I'm gonna do it. I want to do. I think the top 5 large cap cryptos is going to be more beneficial for you guys, but I'll do that one after. And the cool part about this is taking a break from these top 5 plays. So we did the mid caps, we did the low caps. Let's take a break. We'll do the 1,000 wallet into a base ecosystem. Y'all spend my money. The next one, we'll find those top 5 large caps, and you guys are educated to go forth and multiply your crypto wallet. So that's, I don't know how else I can hook you up in a bear winter, but that's why we are doing good here. So thank you all. Again, Crux here with Crux Crypto. Blessed to have you here. There's a lot of people watching me. And I've been streaming for like a year. Well, no, not even streaming. I've been creating content for like a year now. I've been streaming for like half a year. And man, we are blowing up and I appreciate it. So make sure to leave a comment after this. It definitely helps the push of the video. And I'll see you guys on the flip side, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard, 4